Thank you, Mike. My name is Heather Judd, and speaking of being newbies to Teams, let's see if I can present this without too much problem. Actually, I'm so sorry. Okay, can everyone see that all right?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Okay. Hi everyone. I'm Heather Judd, and I am a business analyst at Spatial Dimension. Today, I'll be walking you through our support processes for Landfolio. For some, it may be a refresher. For others, you may be very familiar already with our support case processes. So like most software support objectives, Landfolio's support's ultimate goal is to ensure high client satisfaction and to resolve cases as quickly and efficiently as possible in any time zone. Our structured approach in managing support cases from creation to closure allows an increase in collaboration and communication between supports, clients, BAs, the dev team, managers, and whoever else. Which does ultimately help us to complete the first and second objectives while finding ways to continuously improve our process. I'm going to take you through the life cycle of a support case, starting with the case creation, where you email the case to support@spatialdimension.com. Don't worry, that comes up a lot, so you don't have to write it down now, but it is important. Then the case is reviewed by our support team. It's assigned to the appropriate person or team. It's investigated and resolved. And then finally, it's given final feedback, and then the case will be closed. So step one, case creation. The case creation begins when you, the client, or a BA log a case by sending an email to support@spatialdimension.com. I'll be showing examples of emails throughout the slideshow just to get you familiar. And this right here is an example of a case I logged to support when experiencing an error on a client's GIS server. Here you can see I've given them information about the issue, including a screenshot. The more information you can give, the better. Once the email is sent to support, you will get an automated response almost immediately to acknowledge that your email has been received. To the right is an example of this automated response. The email you sent to support is automatically sent into our support's contact platform, which is called FugBugs, that I talk about on the next slide. I do want to take a moment now to bring attention to the support email because it has changed since last year, since our move to Acquire. It may need to be updated in your address book, or at least give a quick look to your email to double check when you send a support request. I believe that they're also forwarded from the old address, but I just wanted to bring awareness. Here we have FugBugs. FugBugs is our case management and issues tracking tool. To the right is an example of what the list of support cases look like and how it is organized, along with the Q Kiwi logo. This is basically a centralized platform that support uses for tracking your requests, knowing who to contact, where to bill, the case status, and any other details. Support uses FugBugs to assign and prioritize tasks, set deadlines, and track support case progress. It's also handy to use to collaborate with team members and streamline communication, which we've all learned tends to be the solution for most things in life and Landfolio. This also helps reduce email clutter. Once the case has been logged, we go to the second step, which is going to be the initial case review. Before this is done, there are a few stipulations. One is that support will check if there's an active support SLA or support contract in layman's terms that can be linked to this case. This is very important because if there is no support contract, the support team cannot assist. Therefore, we do ask that before you log your case, make sure that you do have a support contract, and if you don't, speak to your account manager. Support does observe a first come, first serve basis to address cases that are in the inbox. Support does work hard in all regions and will get back to you as soon as they can. However, if your case has not been edited or reviewed within an hour of being automatically logged into FugBugs, there is an escalation mechanism that kicks in to ensure that someone is assigned and working on your case. This means that your case will not sit in FugBugs for days without anyone looking at it. Now to the right is how the case appears in FugBugs. You won't actually be using FugBugs, but I'm just showing how it looks to support. Here it shows the case number, which should be in the subject of your email going forward. The title of the case, and all of the field settings that need to be completed, like linking the case to the project, the milestone it's in, and updating the status and ensuring that the case is assigned to the appropriate person. Once necessary information is logged, support will then send an initial reply to the client or BA. Here I have an example of what that response looks like. This differs from the automatic reply because it is answered by an actual human. This will put the client or the BA at ease, knowing that an individual in support has taken ownership of their request. This communicates a rough plan of action about how, when, and by whom the case may be handled. This also gets the case number into the email subject line, hopefully reducing duplicate case emails when created by replying to people. Once the case is reviewed, it is then assigned to the appropriate support person. This may change based on the type of issue it is. Our Landfolio support can support any issue with general IT issues, BA problems like business rules breaking, GIS specific issues like shapes not showing up, data team issues, and of course dev team issues like a bug or if a service pack needs to be applied, which might take longer to resolve the case. And then the fourth step, investigation and resolution. Once a person or team is assigned to your case, they start working on it. This includes a communication cycle using the initial reply email with the case number included in the subject. This communicates solutions, it communicates testing variables, project details, and ultimately results of the case. This usually isn't one email. Sometimes it does take some back and forth between support and the client or BA, but the communication and feedback loop is crucial in solving support requests. The fifth step, and my personal favorite, the final feedback and closure. Once the support issue is resolved, support will provide the client or BA with a detailed description of what caused the problem and the solution found. I am specifically calling out this example of when certain images weren't showing up in the notification templates I had with the clients. I put in the support case at 11:30 Mountain Time, which is 7:30 p.m. in South Africa. And Mauser, who is our application support team lead, was still working and assisting on support cases and was able to fix my issue within a half an hour. So even if it seems like support may be taking longer than usual to get back to you, they are working hard and around the clock to resolve your issues. Support should not close the request without confirmation from the client or BA that the issue is resolved and the case can be closed. This finally is ending the life cycle of that support case, which will be updated by support in FugBugs to close the case. Now, really quickly, I want to run through the best practices of logging a support case for the fastest and most efficient resolution. This includes being mindful of the case details in the email, preventing duplicate cases with multiple emails, and using the contact platform FugBugs that we implement. Here's an example of some support emails that could be sent. The top example is a generic no details email that would be quite challenging for support to investigate. The only way they would even know where to start is by the sender of this email and figuring out what project they're talking about. The bottom is a better example of how to send an email to support. The bottom describes what the error or issue is, how to replicate it, as well as a visual representation, and the environment it's occurring in. Any details such as these or any relevant screenshots are the breadcrumbs support needs to solve the problem. With the more information and communication you use, the better result you will get. Duplicate cases. Duplicate cases happen when emails are sent to support without the case number of the originally logged case in the subject line. If you're trying to get updates on a certain case, if you don't include the case number, they may not know what case you're talking about. I recommend replying all on the initial reply email with the case number and case subject in the subject line for all communication on the issues. This again helps reduce email clutter. It helps keep all communication in one place, and it helps streamline the process. If you have, let's see, again, if you have an error or issue, please contact support@spatialdimension.com. It's better than just emailing an individual person from Spatial Dimension that you know. This automatically puts the support request into FugBugs, which is our contact platform that I've talked about previously. This will ultimately provide you with the best support we can offer, which includes tracking and case history, what's happened on the case, the progress so far, and if it's even still active. It gives transparency, information on the case, who's assigned to it, the progress, and if this case has come up multiple times, if this client has this issue multiple times. Prioritization, it's first come, first serve. Support won't be able to pick favorite clients. They'll have to choose according to who writes in first. And then of course, the centralized communication. So internally and with the client, we're able to keep communication all in one place, so we're not sending out a ton of emails or losing information. Now, just a quick recap on Landfolio support processes. Please make sure that you have a support contract in place before logging a case. If you're not sure if you have a support contract, you can always contact your account manager. Log a support case by sending an email to support@spatialdimension.com. The more details, the better. A detailed email about the case would include a URL, steps to replicate the error or issue, any screenshots that may be relevant, the environment that it's happening on. I find it helpful to CC relevant contact people. I may not be able to answer a question, but my colleague Phil may be able to. So CCing him may help support resolve the issue faster, plus keep Phil up to date on what's happening with the issue. And remember, if you ever have any questions about the issue, if you want to check on progress, or maybe the issue resolved itself, I don't know, the email should include the support case number in the subject line of the email. And I'll recommend again, any communication should include the case number, and it's easiest to use the initial reply email to keep everything together. Thank you for your time and attention. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to drop it in the Q&A on Teams or to reach out to your Landfolio BA or account manager.
All right, great. Thanks, Heather, for that. Great overview. I see a couple more questions have come in. One of them specifically related to support. Roger, yes, I answered your question. In the thread there are designated support staff in Brazil, Canada, and the US. Some of those designated support staff do wear other hats. right? So we have a couple of BAs that are designated key support staff. It is true that certain of the support functions require specialist knowledge out of Cape Town, and so not all support cases will necessarily get resolved immediately if it comes to a North American support member. That said, we have just made a new hire of a dedicated technical IT support person in Vancouver. They're starting with us in a couple of weeks, so we are going to be shoring up our IT support capability in the region going forward. And since we have some time available, Juan asked a question around the dashboards. And the question is, are there predefined dashboards like the one shown in the presentation delivered out of the box, or just connectors to the Landfolio database to build your own reports from scratch? So the answer to that question is yes and no. So the dashboards that Ken showed in his presentation were dashboards that were built in Power BI, or I think potentially even some that were built as SSRS dashboards. Those are not out of the box. Okay, so for those we provide data views and or a data warehouse where you can build your own reports. But inside of the Landfolio application itself, there is a configurable homepage that comprises of a bunch of widgets. Those widgets can be customized on a per user basis to show critical information. We do also include a number of out-of-the-box SSRS reports that can be generated directly from within Landfolio, and so you don't have to use an external BI solution like Power BI or SSRS or one of the others for reporting purposes. At the end of the day, it's really going to come down to the specific use cases and the specific reports and how much self-generation of reports you want. Obviously, if we've worked with customers to build Power BI dashboards, we can obviously reuse some of the queries and some of the frames and things that we've put in Power BI for new customers. But yeah, it's going to depend on it's going to change on a case by case and client by client basis. Yeah, thanks, Stephen. Mauser is indeed a rock star. I just saw your posting in the chat there.